This program is brought to you by Emory University.
Thunder's already been stolen, right? This is, it was very hard to time this to try to give you the news as closely to the point of distribution as possible, and to be able to do it in person. So this is as close as we could come. I think it'd be a good opportunity to just hear from me directly and ask me any questions before I depart. Walk across campus and go do a different job starting Monday morning. So it's not much time remaining in this role. So what's that? So a couple of things. First, I think me being asked to do this position is much a testament to all of you as it is to me. There's no way that they would have thought about it if they weren't pleased with how the organizations had been evolving over time. So thank all of you. I'm the one that now gets to bear the pain of that experience, but nonetheless, it should be good. So that's one point as a thank you. Second point is just acknowledging what an unbelievable amount of change we're going through as an organization right now. LITS as an organization has certainly had its share of change in the last few years. We've all felt that, I think, at a visceral level. And the organization as a whole is now simply ramping that up. Trust me when I say this is not something that most of us involved in that change have asked for, self or you all included, but it's really an opportunity for us to contribute to something that's going to be transformative for Emory. We're all venturing into unknown territory. Mike's never been a CEO of a healthcare organization. I've never been an EVP. Marc's never been enterprise CIO, senior vice provost. The other thing I guess I wanted to emphasize is we all need your help and support to make this happen. I've gotten a ton of communiques today from people, and often they'll say, what can I do? And all I could say is, support the change at every level, because it's not going to be easy. It's just the fact that it is major, significant changes as we've seen in recent history that I can remember at the organization. We will appreciate all offers of support and encouragement. The change is pretty simple. It's almost hard to believe how the speed, though, at which it is happening. I was brought into the loop relatively late in the game. This is, given the nature of these changes, it simply wasn't something that could be broadly communicated across the organization. So it was a matter of weeks ago, not months ago, that they approached me. And obviously, a lot had to happen in that several week period, and much of it was tentative, and is it really going to happen or not? So it wasn't until some of the final sign-offs occurred yesterday that I could even start talking about it. So you are hearing it awfully close to the genesis of it being a formal, official concept. So let's see what else. The transition date for all of these roles, as I alluded to, it's next Monday, and for the most, I'm going to turn it over to Marc in a minute, and then you can really have fun with him. But for the most part, it's a hard cutover. I mean, Mike has almost already started, but will certainly by next week have moved on to the CEO role, and there won't be a lot of nurturing for me when I get there. The good thing about Marc is he still reports to me, so he can pick my brain all he wants, because I will be one of his 3 bosses now. But there'll still be a connection, and I guess the other thing that's different is LITS is still in my portfolio, right? I'm still accountable for this as an organization. Just like all components of B&A, I want it to succeed. I want it to have a prosperous future, but maybe even more so, a little more than than any others. Obviously, have invested a lot in LITS and its history and making it the organization it is. So I know it well. That's for good or for bad. And I will do everything I can to support the leadership, to support all of you to make it and continue to be a successful organization. So you have that commitment from me. What else? I'm sorry? Oh, yes. Thank you, John. So one of the things I have been emphasizing in all the comments I've been making is I'm absolutely thinking of this as an interim appointment. That's how I've discussed it with the president since day one. I love what I do here, and I have every desire to return. I don't have an intention to apply for the position. So, however long it's going to take for them to search for this, if it goes fast, it could be 9 months. If it takes a little bit more time, it could be 15 or 18. But, keep the office nice, Marc, as I say, because I definitely want to come back to it as soon as I can. What else? Missing? Anything that we've talked about? That? Yeah, so thanks, John. So I am taking, for the most part, Mike's entire portfolio. There's really nothing that's being changed, and Marc's taking my entire portfolio. So about the only thing that Mike was doing that I won't be doing in the EVP role is he was the primary point for the Wellstar negotiations. And now as CEO of Emory Healthcare, he will continue to be primary point for Wellstar. So I will not be doing the Wellstar negotiations, thank goodness, because that was consuming an extraordinarily large amount of his time. So, but other than that, yes, think of me as you would have thought of Mike maybe a few years ago before Wellstar started, and certainly think of Marc as my role has been operating in the last couple of years. So with that, I'll turn it over to Marc to say a few words, and then really what I wanted to take the bulk of the session for was just to open it up to questions and comments. Maybe one last point, since I do have so many of you gathered. The focus I was planning for the next all-staff meeting was to give a bit of a debrief on how we were going into fiscal 16. And what I feel really good about is that we're leaving, I'm leaving the organization for this new role in really good shape going into fiscal 16. We had an incredibly successful budget hearing. It's the best budget we've had in a number of years. We got a nice amount of money for the collection. We got money for a salary program. We got money for software increases. We've got a number of special projects, and we've been able to self-fund an extraordinarily large number of the high priority initiatives that you all, many of you were involved in at a divisional level, putting the priority list together. So the organization's in really good shape, and I'm going into an organization that's in really good shape. And I guess the last thing now, as I'm remembering, is, and I'm sure Marc will touch on this as well, the game plan for me and the game plan for Marc is it's status quo, right? We've got the course charted. This isn't a year where we're shaking things up. We're not introducing a whole bunch of new projects. Let's go off and make our mark. We know what we're doing. We're not shifting gears there. We've got enough change to deal with. Simply at the leadership level, the plan is to stay the course with the commitments we've already made. So there's at least predictability in that sense. So, Marc, turn it over to you. Take some questions.
Thanks, everyone. First off, I want to thank all the folks who were able to walk all the way from whatever building you came to the School of Public Health in the freezing cold. So that's fantastic. And the more we have in here, the warmer it gets. So that's great. So it's another community type of activity. I appreciate that. So just to tell you a quick story from where I was with this, Rich, I think, called me into his office. It appeared on my calendar. Come to my office. So I call Andrea up. So should I prepare anything? Oh no, just come to his office. So it's okay. And so Rich asked me and goes, could you take over my role for an interim period of time? And I asked him a whole bunch of questions. He goes, nope, I can't tell you anything. Sorry, can't tell you anything. Who am I going to report to? And so I was telling this story to my 11-year-old, and I was like, well, why would you even take this job with so many unknowns? And I go, well, you know, there actually aren't a lot of unknowns, right? There's a fantastic leadership team here. I've been working with my peers for a long time now. All of you are fantastic workers, fantastic thinkers. So it really wasn't a hard decision. I just wanted to make sure that this was in the right interest of Emory. And then, you know, it's an interim stage for a year. Plus
or minus.
I want to make sure that's clear.
If you think you're getting any firmer answers than I got, good luck.
But seriously, the great work we do in this institution, in this organization for this fantastic institution, makes it a no-brainer. I will absolutely serve as best I can, and I could really use all of your support in making sure we stay on path, we help the faculty, preserve knowledge, we increase scholarship, all those fantastic things that we intrinsically do because that's who we are. We want to make sure we continue it, and I want to support you all as best as possible. That's my story.
Great. Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark. And that's a great set of closing statements, because that's what it all comes back to. And I think that's, you know, when Mike was in the EVP position, as I've pointed out so many times, for Mike it was all about mission. He was never about just being the EVP for business administration. It was always about what can we do to support the mission. That principle certainly isn't going to change. And that's always what we've tried to make LITS about, right? It's not about self-aggrandizing what we do. It's all about contributing value to the mission. So I think in both of those fundamentals, we're absolutely staying the course. So we'll open it up. Questions. And Larry, you're moderating here for the folks online. We've got a lot of folks online. I think this is, what's that? We maxed out. All right, we thought 100 was enough. Sorry, number 101.
Yeah.
Little did we know. Yes?
So how far does the domino go? Will Mark, someone fill in Mark's position, or will he have?
Sure. The question was for those folks who are online, is, you know, how far does domino go? What happens for my portfolio? What's nice is I had a great talk with my leadership team about this, and they are willing and able to stand up for the next level. So my leadership team of folks are going to assume my responsibilities, and I am very happy about that. I trust them, and they're a great team of leaders. So fantastic, that's going to happen. Other questions?
Yeah. If he could have done both jobs, it would have made me look really bad, really bad. It wasn't going to happen, even if it was true.
I can't disappoint.
Yes, there you go. Oh, there we go.
One of the things that Mike did that was really helpful was he communicated with people in the area and in the neighborhood once every 3 months. So we opened the place up to questions from anybody that would come to these meetings. And I would hope, you know, and lobby for that to continue, because I think it's important that someone with that much responsibility at Emory is on stage to address questions that people in the neighborhood have. So I just want to, and I expect you don't know the answer because you don't know your schedule and you don't know, you're going to try to continue what he did. But
so let me exceed your expectations already. I had my first schedule briefing this morning, and that calendar is already, that calendar entry is already on.
Okay.
So
well, thank you.
I will be there for that first community talk.
Thank you.
One of 1,000 other meetings that got added this morning. Yes.
Like the WellStar deal is obviously a major.
Yeah.
We've all seen the public announcements. So can you comment at all on what that?
Yeah. So we're still in the 45-day period. So the guidance that I had received and would now be giving for the remainder of those 45 days is stay the course on everything we're doing. Nothing's changed. We have a board meeting on the 27th. I think at that point we'll have a higher degree of certainty or probability as to which direction we're going. Are we likely to keep proceeding down the Wellstar merger course or not? If we are, we still have an extended amount of detailed planning to do, and then we've got an extended period of time to actually go forward with the day-to-day practical changes that would have to happen for Emory Healthcare to now become part of a distinct corporate entity merged with Wellstar. So when you look at a timeline for all of that, it's a 3 to 4 year time frame minimum, and there's certainly a distinct possibility that with the size of those organizations, one of the strategies is going to be leave some things in place. Let's just do some service level contracts. Let's do some lease agreements, and chop away at it bit by digestible bit. And if you go into a scenario like that, you're probably talking then 6 or 7 years. And if anybody can predict beyond 6 or 7 years, please come talk to me. Right? That'd be great. I mean, so I think there's a possibility that, believe it or not, a lot isn't going to change for some extended period of time. Once we get to a fully separated set of entities, yeah, then I don't know anything you don't know, but you could, apply deductive logic to that, and yeah, it's going to be a different organization. It's absolutely going to be a radically different organization at that point. But I don't think anybody needs to sweat the detail in the 2, 3, 4 year period, right? It's more of a 5, 6, 7 year scenario. Yes. Yeah. So what I'm pretty sure I know is that there's more money here than there is where I'm going.
You can't have any, sir.
And the proof that I'm coming back is that I'm not going to try to get any of that. So the space planning pieces, you're talking about the specific post last reorg that we talked about, rearranging some folks to coincide with delivery points. Yeah, I guess we haven't really officially announced that. Can I? Yeah, I can. That's my last act, I think. That is approved. We are proceeding forward with the space plan. So that was fully funded, and it's a go. Yeah.
Actually, can I announce one other thing as well?
Yeah, you can't retract that funding now, by the way.
Another question that people will probably ask, or at least are thinking about, is we have went ahead and extended the interim position for John Ellis. So he is interim for at least a year for this as well. We want that stability. He's proven great leadership, and I'm very excited that he accepted.
Thanks, Mark. Other questions?
Apparently,
repeat the question, please.
The question was about my tie wear. I personally like my cat in the hat tie. There is apparently a lurker from the School of Public Health here. If someone could.
Other questions?
Anything from online?
Anything online? Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm going to work with some of the people who directly report to me and kind of work through some details on that. So good question. I've got an answer for you soon.
All right. Speak now or
I mean,
hold
know,
your
like-
questions for a while. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of these town hall-like meetings with all the divisions, so you're first in the rotation. It's going to be a while before I get back, so anything else?
So, Rich, do you have anything that's public on the agenda that you would talk about? I mean, some of us have some idea of what Mr. Mendola does and what his portfolio is. But, you know, what you're publicly able to speak on any challenge or things you're supposed to solve?
Based on what just went onto my calendar, he meets with a lot of board people. So that's going to be pretty all-consuming. There's a lot of board committee meetings, board prep, board relationship management, ways and means, president's cabinet. It's the space fills up pretty quickly. But again, there's the organizations for the most part are in really good shape. So I think it's stay the course on that and make sure we communicate and continue to drive things forward. All right. The one smaller detail that I wanted to mention. So I really am. If you have a question in your mind, like this is something I went to Rich in the past on, should I go to him in the future? The answer is almost certainly no. Go to Marc, right? The one item, and I don't want people to read too much into it of, oh, Rich is still engaged in day-to-day stuff, but the one item for a variety of special reasons that I'm going to have some involvement in this summer is the Bobby Jones exhibit in the library, and that's just because it's pretty far down the course. There's a lot of board-level interactions and golf-related things that I'm the token golfer in that project, so I have to stay engaged. But that's really about it. And of course, many of us will interact along other project dimensions. So the Compass upgrade is a massive project, and I'll be heavily involved in that, as well as many other things like ERM. So, all right, if that's it. Yeah. Oh yes. Yes, every committee that I was serving on in official capacity, Marc is taking, and every committee that Mike Mandel was serving on in official capacity, I am taking. Nothing in life is in writing, but that is my intent, trust me. I was very clear when I had the initial conversations with Jim about my desire to return. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you all for coming out on this rainy, cold Friday afternoon, and you're in good hands.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.